Good morning, everybody. My name is Madison. I just turned 14. Together with my two sisters and mom, I've been diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome hypermobility. I have headaches every day. My pain level is usually a 3 to 4, but at any moment or time, if I move my head too quickly or if my class gets too noisy, my pain will spike up to an 8 or 9. I often get migraines, nausea, lightheaded, and the room spins. This creates a lot of anxiety. My parents never stopped advocating for me. My mom has had to become very knowledgeable about EDS since it is not well known by most people, including doctors. My journey within the medical system has been very challenging. I've been labeled, dismissed, and doctors have completely disagreed with one another about my care. My pediatrician said that EDS does not cause any problems, that he doesn't even believe in dysautonomia. He said, that's just being a woman and having periods. We were told by two Chiari specialists from the US that my MRIs and CT images show that things are really crowded right at the base of my skull. The US experts told my parents to get me to Toronto Sick Kids, but then when I saw the neurosurgeon at Toronto Sick Kids, he said nothing was wrong. Well, I'm not a doctor, but I know that something is wrong because none of my friends dropped to the ground and are unable to move simply because they turned their head too quickly. None of them seem to cringe in pain when a classmate shuffles their chair around or talks too loud, and none of them have to leave class to lie down alone in a tiny room to relieve the pressure at the back of their head and neck. I started going for physio and acupuncture for my migraines. The physiotherapist told my parents he was concerned because my neck was so floppy and unstable. My neck instability was also noted by a US orthopedic spine surgeon who pointed out many abnormalities in my MRIs. But when we had x-rays done here, they were all read as normal because none of the concern expressed by the EDS experts. We scheduled an appointment with Dr. Henderson in Maryland. He has had lots of experience with Chiari and cervical instability in EDS patients. Dr. Henderson took his time, asked me lots of questions, and did a full assessment, including poking me all over with safety pins. Thanks again for that. He diagnosed me with a bunch of stuff with really long and confusing names. But basically, my brain is herniating out through the hole at the base of my skull, which is crowding my spinal cord. I also have instability when bending my neck up or down or side to side, so it literally feels like my head is going to fall off sometimes. We were waiting for my appointment at Sick Kids and hoped that based on the concern from the EDS experts and with an official diagnostic report from Dr. Henderson that they would consult and maybe even discuss my care with Dr. Henderson since they'd be both involved in my care. But our hopes were soon shattered. I met with the neurosurgeon at Sick Kids who apologized for not having much time to see me. My appointment was very different from the one in Maryland. I felt completely dismissed and I was very frustrated. The doctor said he would review my imaging with his neuroradiologist and get in touch. A week later, we got an email that said, I have reviewed your daughter's images and have had them reviewed by the neuroradiologist at Sick Kids. We do not agree with Dr. Henderson that the images are abnormal. Well, that was 2 years ago and we are no further ahead. Actually, my neck has gotten worse. Sometimes my neck subluxes and locks. It is excruciating and I cannot move at all. The first time, my parents called the paramedics who put a neck brace on me and strapped me to a board. At Emerge, while waiting for the doctors to report on the x-rays, I fell into a deep sleep. My mom couldn't wake me up, even when the doctors arrived to tell us that the x-rays were clear, no fractures. When I woke up a half an hour later, I was given Advil and released. The next day was like nothing had happened. By looking at me playing at the park with my sisters, you'd never know what pain I had gone through the night before. But when I suddenly started feeling dizzy and getting a headache, my mom told me to rest a little and handed me a water bottle. As I put my head back to drink the water, my neck went out again, and I fell to the ground in agonizing pain. Luckily, my mom had kept the neck brace from the ER the night before. We were only a block away from the hospital, but didn't think they'd be able to do anything to help my pain anyways. While we drove 2 hours to get home, I fell into a deep sleep wearing the neck brace. When I woke up an hour later, my neck was unlocked. I honestly cannot explain how I can possibly fall asleep when I'm in such extreme pain. When my neck is pinched and locked, it feels like I'm electrified, and any touch or movement sends shock straight through to my neck. Last year, during my first week at my new school, I had a neck episode. While I was alone in the bathroom, I fell down and I could not move. All I could do was lie there crying on the cold and dirty bathroom floor. Luckily, a teacher finally heard me. My mom was called to school, and while I lay there, she put on my neck brace, gave me Motrin, and turned off the lights and closed the door so that we could be alone. Then she sat beside me as I laid on that cold, dirty floor in darkness, trying to help me relax and do some deep breathing. After that episode, my teachers have had me carry a walkie-talkie anytime I went anywhere in the school by myself. Well, I'm sure I'm not the ideal patient because there isn't some magic pill or procedure that will cure me, but I really need someone to follow me for all of my medical issues. When my pediatrician moved away a few years ago, we thought I was getting transferred to a new pediatrician at McMaster, but that fell through, and I've been without a pediatrician ever since. My family doctor in Toronto has about a dozen patients with EDS, and he is awesome. However, when I go to the ER or any medical specialist for the first time, they always ask, who is following me for my EDS? They all agree that I need a pediatrician to manage my overall care. So I am here today, sharing my story, not to point fingers or blame, but to show that there are real cracks in the system. I hope change could happen so others won't have the same experience. I'm holding on the best I can, but I have fallen through the cracks. I'm so grateful that you are here today because you want to make a difference for kids like me and for families like mine. I don't ever want to be lying on a cold bathroom floor again, alone and unable to move, not knowing if anyone will hear my call for help. Today you are giving me the hope that I will be heard. Thank you.